on. Okay, we are live with Toaru Talk. How do you think I came up with that one? So imaginative to come up with that name for this new series of live streams on the channel. So here we have the Secret Chiefs from the Patreon, and we're going to talk about Index, basically. We're going to talk about OT for this, and the Index anime, anything we fancy, all sorts, and it should be a pretty fun stream, pretty chill, so hope you enjoy listening. And hope you like the new layout as well. It looks pretty cool, doesn't it? Although this will be a draft one, it might see some changes here and there, but we'll see. But yeah, here I am joined by Shiro Yakuza and Void Hero. Shiro, would you like to introduce yourself first?
Yeah. Hi, my name is Shiro. I'm a pretty big fan of the series. You know, I've pretty much read every volume at least 3 times. Some maybe 5-6 times, some particular volumes. I'm very invested in the series, and yeah, I feel like today's going to be a fun talk, you know. We're going to have a fun talk today.
Hey, let's hope so. Gotta spread the positivity about Index in 2024. Gotta talk about the old stuff, because we might not get any new stuff, you never know. But yeah, also Void Hero, introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Void Hero. I'm also a relatively big fan of this series. I dabbled into it recently. It was a big part of my childhood, and then I came back to see it, dive in as deep as I could, get a feel for everything, and now I'm reading through the novels, enjoying them. But I like the anime, I like the universe and everything, and I'm excited to get into it further.
Great. Yeah, I mean, we were bantering you before the stream started because you haven't actually read OT, but you have read NT, right?
Up to volume 10, so
oh, that's good.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty decent.
You've read the Office arc, so you pretty much experienced peak.
I mean, to be fair, I like the Karanzan arc better.
Oh, that's a good opinion. I mean, not the most popular opinion with some people who don't like the Karanzan arc for whatever reason.
Yeah, I wouldn't understand that either. But anyways, since Void is OT, getting into OT, that's why today we're going to talk about OT mainly. And I think we need to share more appreciation towards OT, because it was the basis of what the NT, GT, and the peak arcs are based off of, especially with establishing the lore, the world, and the politics. So let's get right into it.
Yeah, absolutely. There's definitely a lot we can talk about with Old Testament, just how the plot progressed from what was basically a one-shot volume with the Index arc, or OT1, and then it being so successful that Kamachi decided to continue it along with Dengeki Bunko and the editors that gave him the green light. And who would know that 20 years later, it's spawned into this crazy-ass gigantic franchise with more spin-offs than Fate, or competing with Fate for the amount of spin-offs and everything. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
And one day it's going to surpass, like, One Piece, I think, in terms of content, if not already. And Evolution GG Vegito, thank you for the super chat.
Yeah, I feel like in terms of reading time that you need to complete all of the Index franchise right now, I think it's like way more than One Piece, just because of the format. Index is an LN, One Piece is a manga. You read manga faster than light novels, so.
Yeah, very true. Yeah, it is tough to compare because they are quite different, you know, formats and media. Like, if we compare, like, Railgun compared to the Index anime, it's kind of, like, obvious from, like, the different stylistic choices, because it's so much more easier to adapt, rather than, oh, okay, you're just reading words on a page, and then you've got to use your imagination to bring those scenes to life. Whether it is, like, yeah, the Index manga, which we should talk about as well, because...
Yeah, we should.
Yeah, because that is possibly the best OT adaptation. Oh, it does have some flaws, don't get me wrong, which we can talk about, but yeah, I think it's done a great job overall, like, especially in recent times. It did have a bit of a rocky start, but I think it's aged quite well. But I did send, like, some questions in the chat, like, yesterday, I think.
Right.
like, has Old Testament aged well generally? I mean, for Void, it doesn't have to be like the novels. It can be like the story of the Index anime, like seasons 1 to 3, because that is basically Old Testament.
Right. So, me personally, I am a major advocate of people actually going back to read OT. I know people who went from the anime, just went straight to NT, and I feel like that's bad. But you will appreciate OT so much more once you've read everything and you reread OT, because then you will notice all of these minute details that you would have never known before being foreshadowed from the start. And I feel like that's sort of enjoyment. You can really relive the enjoyment of theorizing and forming your own sort of bubble in the Index world. And that's why I always advocate to reread OT. So if the question is, has OT aged well? My answer would be a resounding yes, because of the significance and the lore that was already implemented from there, and the appreciation you can find just by rereading it. I absolutely think you have to reread OT. People have to read OT.
Yeah, that does some great points, because, yeah, like you said, I also know quite a few people that I talk to, or who I've encountered online who I'm not close to, so a mixture of people who I talk to and who I don't, that have started on NT. I mean, Emerald is a good example. I think Toonie as well. Some YouTubers you probably know from like podcasts and stuff, or their own channels.
Yeah.
And while... oh, sorry, go on.
Nah, I'm just gonna say, like, I don't blame them. Like, it's a major time commitment. 24, including the side stories. It's an incredible investment, and I'll be completely honest, not all of the stories are top tier for me. Like, some can have their boring points, some can be really good, but I feel like it's still valid if you don't have the time to read it.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you that you can do it, like, start from NT if you've just, like, seen the Index anime, but yeah, I don't blame them for doing it, because they think, oh yeah, it's just the same exact story in a way that you got to go through, and it's like, oh my god, 22 books. I'd rather just start on the brand new stuff. And yeah, I understand that completely, but I think knowing what we know from reading it from OT, we know how valuable and how much reading OT is actually worth.
Definitely.
Because yeah, they're just like how the story is told compared to the anime is totally like night and day. You just get so much more context. You get Toma's inner thoughts. You get all the cut content which shouldn't have been cut, like his past. And the pacing is actually, I mean, you can say what you want about Kamachi's writing style with his pacing, but I prefer that pacing to whatever we got in Index 3. Let's face it.
Oh, for sure. Let's not sugarcoat it. No.
Yeah.
Speaking of Index 3, Void, do you have anything to say about the anime?
Yes, I do have a few things to say. As for how it aged, to me, I do think that it did age really well, even with the anime and its flaws. I know that when I first viewed the series, there was just this odd fascination I had to the universe. This, I don't even know how to explain it, like this inner excitement, maybe even immersion in the world that it was completely blew me away more than any other series, well, mostly that I had played up to that point, or I guess watched as well. And I do also believe that the anime works decent enough into the New Testament light novels. Now, despite not actually reading Old Testament, I could already tell from New Testament that, like, it is so well done, and it brings, like, hype and everything into a whole nother level. But I didn't know if that was because of the light novels or if it was because the sequel series was just going crazier than the original. Now, I did read the first 2 pages of the omnibus, and within those first 2 pages, it goes into so much detail that it honestly doesn't need to, but is so cool, reframing even those original scenes in such a good way that even with just 2 pages, I absolutely fell in love with it, just like I did with the anime. and I do genuinely think that it is a worthwhile experience. I simply haven't done it because I didn't have the time yet, but I will certainly do it once there is the time. But just hearing these little snippets of what is missed in the anime, it just makes me so sad. Hearing about the crazy stuff with like Gunha versus Olaris, or I don't really know too much of the other stuff, but it's more of what you already like from the anime, but in more detail and broken down with good pacing and everything. And if it reads anything like New Testament, it's gonna hold up as a beautiful gem, and I cannot wait to read it.
Yeah, I can completely agree with what you said about the fascination you had with the anime adaptation. And that fascination of the world of Index will be elaborated even more in the light novels, obviously, just because the media style, right? Novels, you have the room to be more descriptive, while in visual media, you have to show them instead of telling.
Yeah, I mean, that just makes me think about most of the anime reviews about Index on YouTube, or videos about it that aren't from like hardcore fans of the series. They always say, oh, the anime is so interesting because like the concepts and everything, and the magic versus science, but they always say it fails on the execution. They always say, oh, it just feels so generic, this harem trash, or Toma's boring, etc, etc. You know, I've experienced a drought of Toaru content on YouTube for many years, like before I started making videos about it regularly. And those are the type of videos I used to watch about it. And I guess it is true to an extent, but they don't realize that there is... They just think it had these interesting ideas, but it failed to execute on it. End of story. Not interested in a novel whatsoever. And they just forget about the series. Which is a shame, because if they actually knew about the novels and how good they are, then perhaps they'd think, oh, maybe these concepts are explained or executed better in the book format, and then it would give it a chance. Then we'd probably have more Index fans than we do now.
Probably. I feel that it's hard to promote a light novel in a community that mainly watches anime, though, so that's a bit difficult sometimes.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, we did have like Giguk make the video about it, like was it Interesting World of Toaru or something? Amazing World even. And similar rhetoric there, like, oh, you should check out the Toaru series because the world and concepts are great, but little is said about the plot, I guess, or the characters. And what is said is, oh yeah, Academy City is the character. That's the character you should focus on, not the actual characters. Really? I'm not dissing his video. Like, his video is great because it, you know, the presentation's great. You got a lot of fans into the franchise thanks to that. But yeah, that's just what I mean from like the same like kind of rhetoric. How it's perceived online.
Yeah, but I mean, I can understand that, you know, even me, I was drawn in by the world initially too when I started the series, so definitely one of the strong points too.
Yeah, very true.
Actually, one of the like beautiful things about Toaru is that fascination. I think it transcends multiple mediums. I will not hesitate to say that it genuinely feels like you could expand in like more movies, or maybe in different types of games. Yes, the games that they have made have been great, but there is so much hidden potential in there, and so many different story arcs and everything, that I genuinely believe like it has, like I don't wish to compare it to Halo, but it has like an expansive lore and world that honestly does feel like it could become not necessarily as big as Halo, but have multimedia projects in all the different fields. And it just feels unfortunate to me that it's still limited to the forms that it's limited to. And I hope that eventually they expand on it more, and hopefully it gets popular for that. Because I genuinely just don't think that the anime's enough, of course. and the manga and the light novel is of course better, but they're still really good mediums. I mean, I've been throwing around this idea for a while. Open world Academy City that's like full in depth with all of the districts, with a lot of the characters, maybe even throw in some funny random cameos, set it at, well, I don't know when you would set it, but like there is so much you could do with it.
True.
I definitely had a similar idea, but I think the problem here is I think it's funding. I think we'll see once the alleged New Testament anime releases. Maybe it releases, maybe it does well. Maybe there's a glint of hope. But I've had that idea too. Open world Academy City game.
Yeah, that'd be hype. I mean, the closest thing we got to that was the Index MMO, and I think that's a dead game now. Like the server's completely gone for it, as far as I'm aware. Yeah. And that was pretty fun. Like, I mean, the open world aspect was limited, but it still had that novelty value for me. Like, oh my god, I'm actually going through like locations in the anime and stuff, and it felt pretty cool in that aspect. But yeah, I love to see an actual open world index game or an index fighting game, like a new one that's and got a lot of characters in it. That'd be amazing.
Yeah. So I feel like we've talked about the setting a lot, but let's talk about our favorite moments or maybe characters in the series.
Yeah, sure thing. Who wants to start?
I mean, we all know who Aeon's favorite character overall is, but let's talk purely Old Testament. So
yeah, I mean, I can go first. So interesting enough, like, even though Alistair was better written in like the light novels compared to the anime, obviously, he wasn't my favorite character in Old Testament. That was Accelerator. And I think most people's favorite character in Old Testament will be Accelerator, because he is the MVP. He's the standout star by a country mile. That's not to say Alistair was bad or anything. I think I really like Alistair. Surprised me the most out of a lot of characters, just because I didn't really understand him in the anime. Like, I didn't really get what his purpose was, what the deal with him was, and I was like get confused by him. Like, what's he doing in the tube? Who exactly is this guy? Because I didn't understand. Like, is he the leader of Academy City or what? I didn't understand what his purpose was. And then, like, is this guy good, bad? I don't know. I didn't get the deal with him. But
yeah,
the light levels clarified that up nicely for me, and I'm like, oh, okay, this is what he's planning. Okay, this is what he means by the plan. I get it. Like, Kamachi doesn't explicitly say what his plan is, but he drops in subtle hints here and there, and if you're, keeping up to date with every drop of a hint or whatever, then the dots seem to connect, and I see, oh, okay, I see where he's going with this. But yeah, so that's my favorite character. Obviously, I love Aqua as well. Aqua's an absolute beast. Fiamma, Misuka worst. Those are probably my top 5 or so, or 4 out of Old Testament. Favorite moments. Favorite moments. There's so many incredible moments. Pretty much any moment with Accelerator that has a massive character shift or something like that. Like, obviously, OT-22 with the wings. His mental breakdown versus worst. That was crazy. Reading that for the first time when Index 3 wasn't out, that was wild. Just seeing him psychologically just break down. And I'm glad, like, Nobuhiko Okamoto got to do like a really solid performance for that, as well as Austin Tyndall, the English voice actor. They both did an incredible job for that scene. So that was one of the scenes in Index 3 where I was like, that was really good. Apart from the derpy animation at times, that wasn't too great during the moment, but the actual acting was really, really good. But yeah, there's so many moments to choose from. I could ramble all day. I'll let one of you two have a talk about it.
Right. So obviously, if I were to say, I mean, it's hard to distinguish between OT and NT now that I've read the story so many times, and I know that OT is set up for NT. So I want to say no, but I can't, because Alistair is mainly an NT. So it's really hard to make that separation, but
Yeah.
if we were going overall, it would be Alistair, no diff. If we're going purely OT, I mean, I don't want to be the guy who has the same opinions as you, but I really.
Oh,
like,
you've just been copying me from my YouTube videos.
I know.
I've been
I know.
indoctrinated
Okay,
you.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay, you wanna punch me later? Go ahead. But I have to say, probably Accelerator. I do end up liking Toma more than Accelerator in New Testament, but in Old Testament, Accelerator. As for my favorite moment, though, it's surprisingly not an Accelerator moment. It's actually the stretch from when Toma saves Fiamma, and just the climatic conclusion of the World War III arc. I just can't. The rising climax, it just keeps going up. So Fiamma's beaten, but the star is going down, and then the angel is still up. And then what does Toma do? He rams the star into the angel, and that was like so peak. As he gets lost in the ocean, obviously afterwards, and that escalation is still so crazy to me. That's definitely my favorite moment of Old Testament. Just that stretch, the final stretch.
Yeah, I mean, I don't blame you, because when I do think about it, like, Toma versus Fiamma is still my favorite fight in the series overall. I think that fight has everything. It has choreography, it has the contrasting morals, got the massive stakes to it. And it's got a beautiful message about it. I just think that's great. I know people say NT9 is their favorite volume and that of like Index, but OT22, I think overall, if you think of the series overall and all the different intertwining aspects to it, I think OT22 is like the closest to peak Index in terms of that, because NT9 is more Toma focused than obviously Orphanus as well, but it's running on like I don't want to say a gimmick, but like it's doing its own unique identity kind of thing. While in OT22, it's like all the stars seem to align. It's got every single aspect and battle going on you can think of with the three main characters. That's what I mean. So I think OT22, just has everything that I wanted in an Index volume, to be honest.
I can agree with the completeness. I still like NT9 more, but I have both NT22 and NT9 on the same tier, which is well, to me, it's the second highest tier. Like my top two favorite volumes are in a tier of their own. Anyways, we need to hear from Void. What's your favorite character?
So for me, it's very hard because I actually like a lot of stuff in this series, and I was curious: do we include like Railgun as Old Testament, or is like that its own thing? Because technically, it occurs at the same time.
You could.
Because, so like one of my favorite characters, it's got to be Mugano. Like, I don't know how much she appears in Old Testament. That's why I say this, but something about her cool green laser powers and just, I don't know, her crazy personality that's just so out there for no reason, so untamed that it's just, that is what I envision a level 5 would be. That is genuinely what I would think of, like a kid gets insane powers and just goes out of control. And her name, Meltdowner, maybe there's just something with me and like nuclear stuff, but that is such a cool title. But she's not like my only favorite character. There is a lot of other characters I like. I really love Toma and just some of the out of hand moments he has, like with the first dragon against Izzard, I think it is.
Yeah.
Like that was so raw when I first saw that. I was like, what the heck? And then John's Pin Index, if I'm honest, I kind of prefer it over normal her. Not that I have an issue with normal Index. It's just John Pin. It's so cool. Just, I don't know. A lot of the cool fights, effects, and other stuff that you see when the characters are just so out of character that it doesn't even feel like them anymore, that I just end up loving a lot. And I mean, heck, I even like Motoi, his introduction, and I know in the novel it's even crazier. There's honestly just too many good characters for me to choose an actual favorite, but it's always good to, you know, fall back on like Toma and stuff. Also, I like Kakine, but more as like a meme character, just as like he's strong, but then he gets bodied constantly, and I think that's hilarious.
Looking cool, Kakine.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, for sure. And then as for my favorite like arc, overall in the series that I have read so far, I have to put this out there. I know it's not Old Testament, but the Hawaii arc, at the time, I happened to live in Hawaii, work at that airport, and I even had to, I was even doing a school project at the time to deal with Cinderella, and it lined up too well with my real life, combined with just how much of a Chad Roberto is, which is easily my favorite New Testament character. That arc is so good. It is probably my favorite Toaru arc to date. It just fit me way too darn well. As for Old Testament though, I feel like a lot of the Accelerator arcs, specifically like the introduction to Accelerator with like all of the clones and stuff and that mystique, while I think New Testament handles magic better, I definitely think Old Testament goes so hard on science, and that arc was the embodiment of that. You like got these mysterious like deaths, disappearances and stuff like going on, like it's almost like a murder mystery or something, and then you finally get to the core of it all, and it's this crazed lunatic with seemingly unbeatable power that's just on a power trip, and then just seeing Toma, even if by all logical means Toma is not the weakest, all right, let's make that abundantly clear, he is not the weakest, but still, that fight was so good. The music was so good. Obviously, the Railgun anime handled it better, but I'm just excited to read that in the novels, because it just portrayed Acela as such a cool villain, and then he has his following arcs. So yeah, that's what it is for me. But it isn't to say that I don't like a lot of the other arcs as well. I even think Fiamma's arc is great. Nothing beats the adrenaline rush of that battle with the Accelerator for the first time. Freaking rails getting tossed and stuff. Explosion.
Yeah.
It's so good.
That's a crazy coincidence, though.
That is. And like the Cinderella thing is like the cherry on top. Like, what? Yeah. That is so bizarre and yeah,
it's jarring.
That is crazy.
And the best part is I even knew the terminals they were in. I could map it out in my mind and everything. I'm like, what do you mean they're driving into this? This is 2 stories up. What are you talking about? It's crazy stuff like that, man.
Wow.
Interesting.
I mean,
that's very interesting.
You can say you've been to an index location. I've been to a few because I'm in Europe.
Yeah, I've been to a few too. I've been to Avignon, the OT-14.
Yeah, I'd like to go there. Seems pretty beautiful.
Yeah, it's really good. It's really beautiful.
Yeah, I've just been to like
then,
the.
Closing thoughts on that arc as well. I've actually been to Hawaii's real volcano, and it was definitely a out-of-life experience. Like, normally I'm not blown away by nature, I guess because I've seen crazy stuff in games for so long, but that genuinely blew me away. And one of the things that excites me the most of the prospect of a New Testament anime is like that whole volcano scene, and that just anything to do with that volcano. If it measures up to any just I guess scale otherworldly like it did in real life, then I would just absolutely adore it.
Yeah, fair enough. Wow.
Good job,
NT3.
Gremlin were attacking it that day.
That's funny. Okay. Since you love NT3 so much, well, I'm just gonna say, speaking of NT3, what's your least favorite moments in the series? And my answer, maybe NT3.
Oh.
Yeah, unironically though. Well, no, it's just one of the volumes I don't like. But anyways, we're talking about Old Testament. So what are you guys' least favorite moments in Old Testament?
All right, I'll start then. Okay, least favorite moment. You know what?
Is it tough one?
I've got a hot take.
Okay.
I've got something unconventional because I could do the easy option of saying, oh yeah, Agnese being Agnese. She's my least favorite character in OT. I do not like Agnese as a character. I get what Kamachi's going for, but I just can't. I still can't bring myself to like her. I can't.
Okay.
I can't. I just think she's really annoying and irrespective of like, oh yeah, if the character's annoying or not. I just felt her backstory is just like it felt generic sob story to try and make you feel sympathy for her when it wasn't like earned or coincides with like how she is in the present. Anyway, but my hot take is Aqua not dying in World War 3.
Oh, that's a good one.
Because all right, okay. I get the point. But like Hamazura, stand up hero, that's a peak moment. I love that. And I love Aqua. However, that was Aqua's moment. That was Aqua's moment to go out with a bang, sacrifice himself. He completed his character arc, protecting Britain, then one last stand against Fiamma to try and stop Gabriel and everything along those lines. And then that's taken away from him. And then he just becomes pretty much. He's not even a saint anymore, is he? Like, he's just a guy who can carry a sword. Like, he doesn't have God's right. See, like, and then I don't want to spoil NT too much, but he's barely exists in NT. Like, and Kamachi just
he's rotting. He's rotting
literally.
In jail,
I'd rather him just if he died, that would be like such a heartfelt moment, and that would have Yeah, that would have rounded off his character arc perfectly in that moment. And I say that as an Aqua fan. I love Aqua. He's one of my favorite characters, but I can't stand, if he's just rotting in a jail cell in NT or whatever. Like, come on. You should have killed him. And then give him a heroic death. Make his legacy a fucking thing like Frenda's legacy or whatever, but even better than that.
Definitely. Definitely better than Frenda's legacy.
Well, no, what I mean by that is, I don't mean Frenda was the greatest hero of all time. I mean that because after Frenda died, she became a better character, ironically.
So true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, because of all the lore and backstory we learned about Frenda.
Yeah, I do agree with even if you like a character, it's better if they go off with a bang. Absolutely. Stronger, rather than being, I don't know what is he? What is he right now in GT? Has he even been? No, he's been mentioned in GT. He's been mentioned in GT.
I don't know if he was mentioned once, but I'm assuming he's still in the cell. But yeah, if I'm going to talk about NT, okay, so something happens and it was the perfect time for him to come out of the jail cell, but he's like, nah, screw that. I'm gonna sit in my jail cell. I'm not gonna try to escape. I'm like, Aqua wouldn't do that. The Aqua I know, he literally helped out in NT10, and yet he sat on his arse in the Kuronzon arc while his country's getting attacked. Oh, yeah. Are you fucking serious? That's not Aqua, mate. That is not Aqua. Aqua loves his country more than anything, and he would get out there.
Yeah, that was one of the most jarring things from the Kuronzon arc, which is still my favorite arc, but why?
I don't understand how did he let him out for the Offerness stuff, but he don't let him out for the Kuronzon stuff? It doesn't make any sense.
Was very surprised. What is he doing? What is he doing? Bro, your entire country's being murdered by tentacle aliens. Literally.
Bro. But back to OT. Yeah, you guys can say your least favorite stuff.
Oh, I have a lot of least favorite moments. Six. And I know it has a lot of lore about the imaginary number district, about angels and stuff like that. I don't care. Like, even if you have good exposition, doesn't mean the main plot is any good. And OT6 and I'd say OT 9s through 10 are probably my least favorite. I want to say moments, but like the entire volume is just really boring and that bad to me. So I'm just gonna say like least favorite moments slash volumes. Those 4 volumes in particular. As for least favorite character, initially in Old Testament alone, I found Kazakiri Hyoka to be super annoying. Like I just did not like her in her initial appearance, but over time, I liked her more and more. She's more bearable now ever since World War III and onwards. So I guess if I had to say my least favorite character, it'd be I don't know. I guess Biagio by default.
What? You don't like Biagio?
I'm gonna get flamed.
You don't like the Lord and Savior?
I'm sorry, okay? I don't believe in him. I
Chat.
don't trust him.
Transcend the
Call him out.
characters.
He's not believing Biagio.
No, I don't believe in Biagio. I hate Biagio.
Disgraceful.
This is such a
Disgraceful.
bad
How can you live
moment.
yourself?
I know. I'm sorry, okay?
How
I'm
dare
gonna
you
punch him so
disrespect
bad.
the Lord and God of Index?
At least
Okay,
there's
I'm
someone
sorry.
who doesn't have a good meme.
I'm sorry, okay? I'm just gonna say, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I hate Biagio.
But I like OT6, so
Oh, really? You
Yeah,
find
I
it
do.
boring?
I do.
Okay.
I guess
No,
some of the shopping mall stuff is boring with Kazakiri and Index, but I like the fact that they give Index a friend other than Terma, and it fleshes her out as a human being, as opposed to an
I
object.
guess. Except for the fact that the friend never really appears. Unless once in a blue moon.
Yeah, I guess so.
Like, Index has met Hyoka like 3 times. Like, met face to face 3 times. In the
They're
franchise.
friends, you know?
yeah.
That's what best friends do. They meet 3 times.
Yeah, they meet 3
I
times.
mean, she helps her out in the invasion arc when she's gone fused Kazakiri mode. That's the
Yeah,
deactivator.
that's the second time. That's the second time.
I mean,
And they
to
don't
be
meet in World
fair,
War 3. They don't meet in
Like-
World War 3. They don't meet in OT 19. And I think they meet once in a side story. So that's 3 times. Literally, I'm not doing 3 times.
Hey,
It's
it's the thought that counts.
Okay,
Kazakiri's
so
got
it's
a
not that count.
Kazakiri's banished to the Shadow Realm Imaginary School District. It's not Index's fault
Fair enough.
or
fair
her
enough.
fault.
It's not their fault. But I'm just saying, 3 times.
But
Funny
hey,
enough.
you don't understand like the major factor
Okay.
here, okay? Sure, it's only 3 times, but you got to remember the entire series is over the course of like what 5 months. That's
Okay.
perfectly reasonable.
I've-
times in that.
I have thought of a defense to the 3 days or 3 times.
Oh, what? What?
Okay, so we all know Index's memory has been erased, so all of her experiences are completely new to her.
Okay.
So
Okay.
the fact that she bonds with someone, even if it's just for like a day or that moment, because you don't really see it happen too much with like Index where she actually bonds with someone else who she can identify with. Because Kazakiri, she believes that she's a monster, and Index was led to believe that she's this a grimoire library that is her sole purpose for existing, and she can't. Both of them can't have or don't believe that they can have human connections until obviously Terma enters the fray. So they bond because of that, and because Index is immature because of a memory wipe, that means that she will become connected to people far more easily than, let's say, us, or anyone who hasn't had a memory erased. So that's why she gravitates towards Terma, and
I guess, yeah. I mean,
my defense.
I guess her second best friend she meets 3 times. Yeah, definitely. Sure, maybe.
Yeah, well, I'm sure she'd love to meet her again, but what can she do? She at least has fucking yeeted her back to the parallel universe.
GT moment. It's almost as if her friend doesn't want to see her.
Yeah.
Whatever. It's just... Okay. Void's turn. Least favorite moments and characters.
Least favorite moments and characters. Despite really loving a lot of Old Testament, there is a lot of bad arcs in there for me, and a lot of bad, forgettable characters that I don't necessarily hate. I'm just like, whatever. And I am very much so a person who says, for the magic side, New Testament is peak. For Old Testament magic, it just doesn't do it for me. Again, maybe the novels will change this. I don't know.
Yes, they will.
For what I saw in the anime, all right, there is so many just magic characters you could just write off, and the story, I swear, would not change from it. Some of them I don't mind, but we'll just start with my least favorite arc. The Daihase Festival arc. I don't even know what's going on with that. First off, you got the fact that at the same time, the Railgun arc is happening, which is infinitely better. So why do I gotta sit through this garbage when a better arc exists at the same time? But then beyond that, you got, I don't even remember her name, Ariana Thompson with her weird freaking note card. She's studying for class. You know, she's got to make sure she doesn't fail her test. Who beats my boy Nobuharu? So now I already have a grudge against her. That's my boy.
Yeah, but she's hot.
Yeah, but she's hot. Yeah, exactly.
No, it's not good enough. And then the fact that she went batshit crazy and almost killed one of the other characters for bloody no reason.
That gets elaborated on in the light novel.
Yeah.
And then I think the worst part of all of it is, it ends, it comes together. And then the following mini arc is just this random dude with a crossbow on a roof. That is the most filler of freaking filler I have seen. Like, every time I see that, or try to get like my brother to watch the anime.
Bro, you can't hate Yamisaka Oma. He's a G.
That's OT5.
Like,
bro, don't hate on Oma. Well,
we're just like, we need to get to the next arc. What are we still doing here? What does any of this mean? What is the point of this?
Yeah, I mean that happens before the Daisei arc in both like the anime and
it happens before
light novel. But the one after that is the Iceboats arc.
I'm okay with that one, but just something about that and that whole arc that I'm just like, man,
Bro, the disrespect towards Oma. I can't handle it. I can't handle it, guys. The disrespect for the goats, the Biagio Oma. Nah, I can't deal with it.
What's wrong with Biagio, bro? I hate Biagio. Okay,
he's a fucking shad, mate. What you on about?
Who's he fine?
He got
bro. He's just an old man.
Yeah,
some greasy old man with a cross.
Yeah, but he's got Harama nuns on some ships.
Well, underage nuns, I might add.
Yeah, but he's Catholic, so it's normal.
Yeah, I know. That's exactly okay.
No offense to any Catholics watching. That's a joke.
Just for the stereotypes. Okay. Just for the stereotype. Yeah, you know what? I'm stereotyping. That's the only reason I like Biagio now. Okay, I like Biagio. You converted me. Okay. A Catholic who plays with underage nuns. Okay, yeah, sure. Goat character.
Fuck's sake, I'm dying. I'm dead.
I know, it's crazy, bro. But you're right. You have a point. No, you have a point. You're right. Okay. I love him now. I love him. He's the goat. He's the goat. I wish I was in his shoes.
No.
I have the solution to make me like these characters more. Give them an overpowered Fest variant in Imaginary Fest.
God,
Oh,
damn it.
I
true.
love the character.
That's Yajo. That'd be crazy. Okay, but yeah, I was gonna add on to Void's point of Daiha Seisai. Like I mentioned, I don't like OT9 and OT10 as well. That's Daiha Seisai. So yeah, I also hate that arc because I think it's super boring. I don't mind Oriana though. Oriana's pretty hot. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Let me speak. That is a arc in the light novel. For me, it dragged. I feel like it could have been way shorter. It didn't need to be like a two-parter. They could have done like the twist about the Cross of Saint Peter being the stab sword, which is the most creative name of all time, is actually Cross of Saint Peter. That could have been done halfway through the volume, and they resolve it by the end. But no, it felt dragged out. I did like the side quest, the chase aspect with Style and Motoharu. I feel like their interactions with Tomo are kind of fun. But yeah, the payoff wasn't nearly as good as it warranted for a two-parter arc. And ironically, I think like the better parts from it are like the games with Isaka and the character interactions and stuff like that.
You know what's crazy? I enjoyed the Daiha Seisai arc more in the anime than the light novel because I was dead while reading the light novel.
Yeah,
Like,
it kind of dragged, didn't it?
Yeah, and my first watch of Daiha Seisai, I maybe I was a kid back then, but I actually really liked it. Like recently, I don't know when was the last time I actually rewatched it, but I don't think I'll like it as much as I did the first time. But reading the novels like 3 times, I was dead all 3 times. I gave it like 2 chances to redeem itself, and it did not redeem itself. So, you know, I just don't like the arc, except for Oriana because she's hot. But yeah.
You think about it.
I mean, she actually is fan service, but for the right reasons, because she distracts her opponents with it, so it's justified.
there's no way you're actually saying this.
It is. It is. It's a strategy. Like if you're a hot woman and you're trying to, get away or whatever, or try get, get affections like femme fatale, it works.
There's no.
It's
way.
justified.
There's no way you're actually saying the same.
It is. It's true. Like it's more justified than the lolly bullshit that you see with fucking Tomo walking and seeing Index changing with Komoi. It's more justified.
Yeah, that doesn't make it justified.
It does, because if you
like, okay, you know what? You know what? She's hot. I'll take it. She's hot. I'll take it. Whatever.
it makes
She's hot.
sense.
She's
It's
hot.
a femme
Doesn't matter.
fatale. It's a trope.
Okay,
Using
yeah, she's hot.
a sexuality of women to gain advantage from men.
Okay.
It's a thing.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. She's hot. Yeah. Okay. Wow. We've been
Alright, okay.
sidetracked by
Hang
things.
on. I'm not done yet. I need to defend Yamisaka Oma. Right.
Oh, really?
So that arc was in the 3 stories arc. It should have been at the end of Index Season 1, but they decided to slap it on the beginning of Season 2, which is why it felt like filler. But, okay, it's kind of generic story in terms of the format of it. It's, okay, Index villain who actually wants to do good, does bad things to try and do something good in the world. And then Toma taught no jutsus him and saves the day. Okay, I get that. But Oma, he's a Chad. His wife was dying from some magic curse. And then he thinks, okay, screw it. I will literally do anything to save you. I'm going to go and kidnap a lolly nun to extract some toxic books out of her head, which will probably kill me just so I can try and save you because I'm that desperate.
Yeah.
What a legend! He doesn't deserve hate. He's a Chad.
Well, that's because almost all of the villains have some sort of similar motive, and it's just like it's become generic in media. It's become generic, bro. Come on. Like the most general execution you can ever have is what his character was. Like it could have been something more, yeah, sure, with that archetype, but it wasn't. It was told in the most generic way possible.
I like it though. I don't care. I love Index. I like the generic Index stories.
Okay. Fair enough.
I even have like an issue with the character entirely. It's not in depth enough, and you could remove that entire arc from the story, and nothing would change. You only know that you'd be missing something because you've seen it. But if you've never seen Index before, you completely remove it. Nothing. It's the same. Honestly, that applies to half the arcs of the series, but still, like,
it applies to NT3.
Maybe I just needed to read the light novels for it, but in the anime, I don't know. It wasn't deep enough. If he had more time to grow, if he was like a bigger villain, I would have cared more. But he's just here, and now he's gone.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't care much about him at all.
I mean, he's probably got the same amount.
I don't hate him. I don't hate him, but I don't care about him.
He's probably got the same amount of screen time as Kakina in the novel anyway, in OT anyway.
True.
I'm not defending Kakina. I'm saying he's a good meme character.
What a meme.
Big cack expands exponentially.
To a volleyball.
Gigantic cack.
The meme level 5, the protagonist level 5, the crazy turned hero level 5, my favorite level 5, which I think actually represents how level 5 would work, the mystery level 5, and then Gunha, who's he's just a chat, all right? Gunha's his own dude. Let the man cook.
Okay, we can agree on that.
It's
I
funny.
love Gunha.
Okay. So, thoughts about Kamachi's foreshadowing from Old Testament. Okay. What do you have to say about this?
Shall I begin?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I just think it's pretty cool, or, well, clever that he basically sows some seeds, like, as early as Volume 1 of OT, that then start to play out in NT, like because Void Hero won't know this, but the first time Magic Gods were referenced was in OT1. Was in the first volume of the series.
Yeah.
Yeah. And just some other stuff like Anna Sprengel, obviously. Some other stuff which I probably can't think of off the top of my head. Oh, I guess like all the Alistair stuff. Like we were first like pretty much given a rundown or a brief summary of Alistair's past as early as like OT7, when they were talking about the Book of the Law and Edward Alexander Crowley, which I talked to someone recently and I didn't realize that Edward Alexander Crowley was in fact Alistair.
Oh yeah, I know people who didn't know that too.
Yeah,
a few of them actually.
Yeah, I think that's like a cheeky little thing that when you're rereading it, you realize it's like, oh crap. So I really like that. One thing that bugs me though is like, okay, OT's function, like, even though both of you kind of implied or said that there are like some pointless moments or characters, but I feel like OT is the most consistent in terms of quality out of like, well, compared to NT at least, because we can't judge GT fully yet. And each arc from OT plays some form of a role in World War 3. They all seem to interconnect and reach the same destination, which I really love. The other thing that bugs me though is, of course, the what do you call it? The most obvious thing, which is vampires. Just how that rule applies until you get to vampires, you're like, crap.
That's funny.
That bugs me still. It's just
the biggest meme of all time.
Yeah. I don't know why Kamachi just has not decided to bring him back or mention him again. I mean, he did mention him in like the Daisei arc. We kind of touched upon it a bit with why Himigami was targeted. He was wearing that cross to that's from vampires or something. Yeah. But it's just crazy. Like, come on.
I'm actually looking up for something specific. Yeah,
okay.
So in Old Testament 1, they actually have a mention of the Rosicrucians already.
Oh, yeah. That sounds about
Yeah.
right.
And now it's only relevant. How many volumes in the future? Like 45 volumes? Which is crazy. And I know, I just reread OT 22 like less than a month ago. And there was, at the end of Old Testament 22, there was a mention of the Secret Chiefs, Anna Springle, and those type of entities over there, which is super interesting. It's just crazy when you go back and like pick this up. There's also not a lot of stuff actually about the Kabbalaic trees, the
Yes.
Ein Sof R, and how that was mentioned. So there's something mentioned in Old Testament 3
Yes.
that was mentioned all the way in New Testament 22, and no one would ever realize it. But yeah, that'd be a spoiler over here, so I'm not gonna say. But yeah, there's one thing in Old Testament 13 that is so crazy. So there's a mention of, I'll just quote it directly, right? So this is Alistair's quote. I could also make a trinity out of Accelerator, Last Order, and Fuse Kazakiri, but that would not be enough. I must go beyond that. And the Frog Doctor just says beyond level 6. And that I mean, I think I know what the trinity is alluding to in New Testament, but yeah, that's so crazy. From this volume, OT 13, all the way to New Testament 22, that's so crazy to me.
Talking about the trinity of Excel, Will, and
Last
Clipper.
Order and Fuse Kazakiri.
Or
They're talking about Fuse Kazakiri first.
Yeah.
And obviously, Kazakiri was the prototype for Aiwas in Old Testament, which is what we would have known if you read Old Testament 19. And you know what happens in New Testament 22, Aeon.
Yeah. I was just saying, perhaps that could be applied to like the trinity we do see in T22.
Yeah, there's another entity over there later on, but essentially, which I think is still insane though. Like all of this being foretold all the way back in the Old Testament.
Yeah, now that you mention it, it does make me think more about things and like how, what you mentioned with Voti 3 with like index comparing like system to. Well, system being
yes,
level
that's what
6.
I was referring to.
Yes, to the tree of like Sephiroth and Ein Sof, which is directly correlates with what we know as the true nature of the Misaka network in NT22.
Right.
Actually saw those comparisons as early as that, and we know that level 6 is the gateway, or the Misaka network is the gateway to level 6.
Right, and there's one more thing, but it's just a really cool lore bit, which I'm probably not going to say because of spoilers, and I think I want the readers who actually read to actually like figure it out themselves, right? So I'm not going to say it here, but it's just so cool.
Yeah,
and the way there.
Yeah, it is funny. We get like the explanation on the trees. That people who haven't read like OT4 probably extra confused by NT22 just because they missed that little rundown of the trees, but even then, like people forgot that little bit of Motoi explaining what they are. But
so one thing, my bad. You can continue first.
Oh no, it's okay. I just wanted to mention like with where Alistair is at the moment in the novels, and looking at like the quote Aiwas said about him, comparing him to like the three heroes and how he thinks he can never like be like the three heroes, and that's so relevant at the moment.
Right, obviously that's I know. I mean that quote has always, the Old Testament 19 quote from Aiwas has always stuck with me.
Yes.
Throughout reading Koranzon, which is probably what really made me enjoy Koranzon as much as I did. But I think so. The way I view the power system and maybe Alistair as a character and Toaru is that they're both mysteries, and we're given a lot of clues to decipher them. And in a traditional mystery, all of the clues are not obviously, but have to be given out for the reader to piece together the information, right? And I feel like if you read through all of Old Testament, you would be able to piece together Alistair's character even before from New Testament and know most of what he's trying to do. Except maybe the MGs, and also the power system and how it works with, I'm not gonna say it here, but how the true essence of the power system and the science side. So I think you could probably decipher that all the way back from Old Testament, because you've been given I think more than enough clues, really. The anime doesn't touch upon a lot of Alistair's lore, especially in Old Testament 7, which was was it the first arc of season 2 after the Yamisaka thing? I think so, right?
Yeah, the Book of the Lore arc.
Yeah. Like they cut off so much information about Alistair in that volume. And when you read, yeah.
Sorry, I was just gonna say, yeah, they just name drop Edward Alexander and they don't say anything about him. Well, just that he wrote the Book of the Law.
And that's like kind of my point on why I say people should still read OT, is that you're definitely missing out a lot if you don't read, because going from the anime straight to New Testament, people don't get the prior context about Alistair. So I know one person, I don't know the person, but I've heard someone say this. They don't like Alistair because they didn't expect him to be a family man. And I'm just like, but that information is in OT. So why are you... It's your ignorance for not reading OT, right? So I'm just like, I'm a bit baffled by that. I'm just like, that's why I always advocate to read OT. Just because there's going to be so much there, which will help your understanding of the series in the future.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I mean, I could understand it if they were like, oh, they're annoyed that he's actually a degenerate, because if they don't know about the real Alistair.
Yeah. I can understand degenerate more.
But yeah, just why is he dooming and molding and sieving in a piss tube for most of the pretty much 24/7 if he doesn't have any prior tragedy in his life?
Motivation for that. He needs to have a motivation for that. Like, what do you expect? Him to just have no motivation?
Yeah, that's wild to me.
Yeah.
He likes torturing and drugging espers and teenagers because why not?
Yeah. One thing that I love, this is not from I think it's from the design notes of Alistair in Old Testament 2, is that he's described as an alien in human skin.
Yes.
And to me, that adds so much to his character, because he's a failed human who's trying his best to find his... Oh, well, I'm spoiling. Okay. I probably should stop here, huh?
Well, yeah, it's because he's extended his lifespan. He's pretty much everyone knows he's like over 100 years old. Because
let's keep it at the most surface level. Yeah, he's an alien because he's extending his lifespan. That's all we know from OT, right? We know nothing else, guys.
Well, what I mean by that is like I guess he's very prideful on his humanity, and he's often conflicted within himself to try and retain his pride as being a human. That's what we can say about that, I guess.
That's all we're gonna say.
Yes.
Someone said, "What's bad about Alistair being a family man?" And my answer to that is, I don't know. Ask whoever said that quote.
Yeah.
Because I completely disagree with that. I'm just like, why? Why did you not expect him to be one? You didn't read OT7? That's on you. Yeah.
Boyd, did you notice any foreshadowing from the anime specifically into reading NT, or not so much?
Well, I actually did notice. I don't even know if it's foreshadow, just more so cameos of characters that I thought was very cool at the very end of Old Testament, and even a little bit earlier with the whole Frenda situation. There is actually quite a bit of foreshadowing of what's to be ahead. It's not that in depth. You kind of don't know. There's the mystery of, oh, maybe this character comes important, and some of those characters become extremely important from just being a random cameo. But honestly, and this is kind of from, I think you can infer it from the anime for sure, but it's more the light novels, and this also was thanks to your video, Aeon. But Toma's dragons, his whole other side of power and stuff, I do really think it's cool that you just get a sneak peek that you don't fully understand yet, but just how that could evolve and other things, and the perspective on that changing, I think is definitely really well done, and I'm sure I'll like it more in the source material, but with what foreshadowing moments I have to work with, I did really, really like that. My other, I guess, this is a meme foreshadowing moment, but it was just so funny that I want to bring it up. So there were a ton of parody novels that Kamachi makes of his own work, and one of them was like, "Is this the start or end of the story?" or some weird title like that. And in it, like the final enemy is a Gami Pierce, and you know I'm just gonna do a full send, okay? We have like everyone around Toma has significant importance. Like almost all of them do, including Motoi becoming like crazy double agents and everything. There's no way you can convince me that Agami Pierce doesn't have a secret side. There's no way. And in this, it foreshadows him being the final villain. So I'm calling that is a parody foreshadowing of either a huge involvement with him in a later arc, or outright that he's the final enemy. He's the one that everyone's gotta be scared of. If I'm wrong,
that'd be funny as hell. Not gonna lie.
That honestly was my favorite.
Yeah,
favorite.
I know what you're talking about.
What were you guys talking about?
About that. What do you call it? Not a side story, but it's like, yeah, maybe it is. It's like a really, really short Kamachi written story about the final boss of Index, and he just like, oh, is it gonna be Laura? Is it gonna be Laura, or is it gonna be Alistair? But he's like, trolls everyone, and he says, oh, nice. Aogami like not one shot at them both. So we're like, oh, is Aogami gonna be the mastermind behind everything?
I mean, he's a true gag character.
While we're on like the meme stories, there's another really good foreshadow that even Aeon himself brought up, and that is the possible taste and the possible person that Toma is going to get with at the end of the story. At least I'm pretty sure that was in the parody novel. But it basically is like him and I don't even remember. It's been a while since I read it, but him and like some dream stated stuff about who he envisions himself being with, and it fits way too well with the dorm manager of like Makoto and stuff. And I think as like a meme, that is golden. The one no one expects, the one that like doesn't even know Toma. You even saw her have like some romance arc in Railgun that is just, it's so out of left field, and it's like, oh, well, what if that's who he ends up with? I think that's great.
I still think
I remember that somewhat. It's been a while since I've read the Toma's wish list, I guess. It's been a while. I don't remember the exact wish list though.
Listen, I think it's gonna be Kuroko, not gonna lie.
Stop. Kill yourself. No.
That's the Cinder.
No.
Right? That's the Cinder.
No. Why? No. No. That's disgusting.
Have you not played Toaru Imaginary Fest? There's an
I know. I have that Kuroko at 6-star. Okay. In fact, I have most characters. I don't have most. I have a lot of fests at 6 stars, but yeah, I pulled for a lot during her banner with Dragon Toma, which is funny, right? She released with Dragon Toma, and she was.
It's canon.
I mean, I think her 6-star art had like Misaka in the back, being very shocked at them.
Exactly, it's good.
I can
pull it up. Long story short, the parody novels are worth reading. They're absolutely great. I haven't read all of them, but every single one that I did read, I love it. It's peak comedy in the Toaru universe, so why not?
Yeah.
You know the Kuroko marrying Toma art in IF? The card name is called Lifelong Mistake.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm serious. Let me ping you. I mean, I would send a screenshot.
Well, just like most marriages then.
Lifelong mistake, they say.
Just like most marriages.
Here, let me try pasting it in the Discord.
No, I'm joking. I believe in true love and marriage.
Lifelong mistake, they say.
Just that there's a lot of divorces nowadays.
I mean, if Kuroko divorces Toma, she's getting nothing to her name because Toma's broke.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Well, I mean, I guess Toma's dad is pretty rich, right? Pretty well off.
Yeah,
He's in finance, so should be pretty well off.
travels the world
Yeah,
and that.
Toma's dad is a Chad, and that's that's another thing foreshadowed in the freaking Agami Pierce parody thing about how he has the same like harem ability that Toma has, that it's like genetic of the males in that family. So if both of them work together, just a whole world worth of females would just appear.
That's so funny.
The Riz is off the charts.
That's so funny, man. The harem gene. So in Tekken we have something called the devil gene, right? So in Toaru, I guess we have the harem gene.
Crazy.
Kamisato too, though, but he's from NT.
Harem acceptor.
Harem acceptor. That's an insane quote. Okay, so NT adaptation is probably still, well, I mean, it's gonna come soon, sooner than later, maybe. Who knows? But we're talking about OT, so the question is, do you think OT has a chance to get a good adaptation or a remake?
I mean, it's funny because I don't know if you guys saw like the interview with Kazuma Miki, I should say.
Yeah.
Like, because they were debating whether they would either do season 3 or do an entire remake of OT, and I'm curious. Wow. Yeah, there's an Anime News Network article. I can link it if you want to see it.
Yeah, send it later after the stream.
Okay, yeah, if you remind me, because I might forget. But yeah, wait a second. Oh yeah, I'm fine. But yes, it's interesting to think what would have happened if we didn't get Index 3 and we got like a full remake. Would they have actually made like the animation and stuff better? Because they would have been given more episodes for it. Because like Kadokawa or whoever was having the final say over episodes were like, oh, we're going to give you 24 episodes for Index 3, but then Nishikiori was like, no, I can't do that. I need 2 more episodes if I'm going to tell the entire thing, or I need more episodes. And they're like, okay, here's 2. And it's like, oh, need more. So that's unfortunate. But I do think it's difficult because, like I said before, it's difficult to adapt light novels into anime compared to manga. But I feel like with enough episodes, and if you do like more, what do you call it, inner thoughts and dialogue, like if we get to hear like Toma's inner thoughts a lot more and understand his way of thinking, like in some other anime, like Hunter x Hunter or whatever, I think that could benefit a lot. I don't think it needs a narrator, because I think that would kind of like take you out of it in a way.
No,
yeah.
I don't want a narrator.
Yeah,
I think there's only one arc in the series where I would value a narrator, and that would be NT9. That's the only arc that I think would need a narrator.
Right.
The rest, no.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't like narrators usually because I think they disrupt the, visual medium is about show, not tell. I'd rather they tell it somehow effectively, efficiently, but concisely, to the point where you get enough, but you're not drowned in words. And that's what
so otherwise you end up like Legend of the Galactic Heroes, and while that is an amazing anime,
it's a good series, but
but it does come across as like there's so much narration, there's so much dialogue in that, and it does
a lot.
It's not a series you watch to be entertained. It's one where you sit with a glass of red wine and cheese, but on your own.
I've read Toaru with a glass of wine. I mean, I sent the photo before. I had a glass of wine, I cooked some wagyu, and we had a good time.
I mean, yeah, Index can do that. I mean, Index has the best of both worlds. It's got some entertaining like shenanigans on that, but it's also goes pretty deep with the lore and the written stuff.
Yeah,
so it's got. I think Toaru handles the best of both worlds. So yeah.
So as for me, I think if they ever make an OT remake, what I want them to do is actually I want them to make a 3-part movie for World War III, actually, because I feel like, of course, movie production will be better than normal anime production, but it'll also give the the studio time to work with their project, because movies, you don't have to release them close to each other, right? You can release them like one here, one next year, another one next year, just like how Fate handled Heaven's Feel. And I feel like that'll be a more effective way to handle it. I don't think they'll be able to perfectly adapt everything, but for a visual medium, I feel like that's good. That's already really good. A 3-part movie, yeah, I'd be down for that.
Yeah, that'd be pretty good. But whether we will have that much faith in Index is another story.
I know I'm coping. I'm on copium. I know that. I'm on copium, but I was thinking maybe even if they are ever really going to go for the remake, what I would actually want them to do is do one movie for one volume. But I know that's almost impossible. I know that's copium. But I think that'd be perfect because they can adjust the runtime of the movie perfectly to fit each volume, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. It's just always been the case that, for whatever reason, despite being, well, it was the best-selling light novel franchise of all time at one point until it's been recently surpassed by Tensura.
Slime.
Yeah. That it's crazy that it's been so popular and yet it's had like such a weird treatment of the material for in anime terms of things. But like, yeah, just the gap between seasons and just like how like the contrast between the love that Railgun gets and whatever we get with Index 3. It's mind-boggling. Like, I think a remake would be good just to like obviously get more new fans into it, and if it's actually like a lot of love and attention's put into it and it's given like a lot of episodes to flow and tell what it needs to be, told the story, I think that could be amazing. But it's just like I don't see it happening simply because it would just be so much content to do over like from the start, like to reset.
I agree.
But maybe New Testament anime could do that. Okay, it's not a completely blank slate, but it's as close to a blank slate you can get to without resetting things on the anime things. Yeah.
So I brought it up. I mean, I brought it up before, but maybe one time we were gonna have like a stream where we discuss our ideal NT adaptation, and my ideal would definitely be a movie per volume, but that's obviously cope. So yeah, for OT though, I feel like if they remake anything, I feel like they should at least pay homage to World War III. I feel like that's the most important thing to nail down.
Yeah, honestly, World War III. Well, there are parts of World War III in anime that were really good, like Accelerator's song, like when he uses magic for the first time. That was well directed for the most part. I really liked Nishikiori did that.
I can't lie, I don't like the wings. The wings look a bit. I don't know.
Oh no, I'm not talking about the wings. I'm talking about when he uses magic, like when he sings the song, like duh, 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 and he's like, "Am I a monster?" Oh, that sequence, I thought that like the cinematography of it was pretty cool, or the visuals, whatever you want to call it.
I'll have to rewatch it.
Yeah, because it like you got like all those feathers and stuff, like how they turn from like black to white, and you see his facial. Yeah, I think it's really good, that sequence. Yeah, there's parts like that are good. I thought there were a few and far between, and then I like the performances. Obviously, from the Japanese cast, they do a great job as usual, but it's just like some stylistic choices and just the pacing. Yeah, it just could have been World War III could have been way better. Like it, because that arc impacted me so much on reading the novels for the first time, because that's what like that like introduced me to like the peaks that Index could reach. Okay, like OT 16 and 18 and 15 were amazing. Well, that was like that was on another level, and I just did not, because it's like such a climactic arc. It's not like the scale of like the Chimera Ant arc or whatever, like all the intertwining people fighting and all that, and they all got their own character arcs and stuff. And it didn't feel like that at all. I guess because it was just so few episodes. It was only like how many, 9 episodes was it? It's just not enough.
8 8 even. I
Eight,
think.
eight.
Oh no, nine. No, you're right.
Yeah,
9.
yeah. And considering like the Index arc in season 1 got 6 episodes, and we get 9 episodes for World War 3, that's a
Yeah, that makes
It's a
no
joke.
sense.
it's a joke.
That's a joke.
I mean, it's
Who's
even
directing this?
it's even worse for like Battle Royale because there's like so many new characters that you don't know who the hell any of them are.
I know that was awful. I had no idea what was going on.
Yeah.
The first time I watched it, I was like, "What the hell? What is going on? Who is this guy? Who is this new NPC, man? They just spawn. NPCs
yeah.
just spawning, you know."
I'm reluctant to blame like the director like Nishikiori for like the episode count because we do know that he did fight for like more episodes,
Yeah, right.
but the studio or Kadokawa were like no. So that's not entirely his fault, but at the same time, I don't think he's a good director for Index, and that's just my personal opinion. But no hate against the guy. I think he doesn't deserve hate online like he got when it was airing.
I definitely don't advocate the hate, obviously,
Yeah,
but yeah, I still think Index direction in general, I'm not that big of a fan of in general.
Yeah.
Like I don't know what anime directing style would really fit the series either, though. That's the thing.
Yeah, I'm not knowledgeable enough about. Okay, this director's directed this show, and maybe if I did like a bunch of research about it, I'd be able to make an informed decision. But that'd probably take a long time. But yeah,
I know some, but like in terms of Index, I don't know if they're right for it either because they are doing completely different projects. I don't know.
you mean what's he called? Nagai?
Director for what?
Nagai?
No, not for
Railgun.
Toaru project. I'm talking about like anime directors in general. Like, I don't know who would really fit what Index is. Just because it's such a unique series, I don't know who would be able to pull it off successfully. It's just really hard to actually adapt, I must say.
Yeah, he's Nagai Railgun. So yeah,
Yeah.
I would say Nagai, but because he can handle like tone and serious moments and the fight sequences really well. Like, but the elephant in the room is whether he can do a light novel adaptation.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, but yeah, I think you said it yourself, but Railgun is a manga and Index is a light novel that's infinitely more dense than Railgun with a completely different structure as well, right? And I think it's just a really hard series to adapt, you know?
Void. I want to ask you about something. When you watched Index Season 3, because we mentioned about the Battle Royale arc, were you able to like understand what was going on in like some of the arcs that were rushed in Index 3, or were you really confused by it?
Really confused on a lot of it, honestly. And like, I don't think it's entirely the anime's fault. And the reason I say this is because I know that there's a New Testament arc very similar that I was confused reading the light novel in. Like, I didn't know what was going on in that either. So I don't know if I would know from the actual like light novel or not, but yes, what we got in the anime, I didn't know what was going on, and 5 rewatches later, I still don't know what's going on, but I have a better idea. You really just need to keep rewatching it to get an idea, because there's just so many random things going on. Eventually, I was able to get an idea of who all the factions were, but that was because I was like taking a deep dive in, looking at the wiki, doing like all this other stuff at the same time. So I finally got an idea of all the different groups, which, what is there like 6 of them or something? So it was definitely a lot to keep track of, and I definitely think it could do better with pacing, like with a re-air. But even then, that's just a tricky arc from what I can see. But some good news about an idea of, let's say, an Old Testament anime coming back over. I don't think it needs to be done from scratch. You already have all this pre-existing material, and we saw that Railgun adapted, well, I guess the arc was technically in the manga, but point is, it readapted an arc that was in the other anime, and it did really well. So I do figure, take the good material from the anime that already exists, add in the stuff that should not have been cut from the light novel, please, and like give it episodes, like more episodes to work out, or whatever format it needs to, so that it starts at least getting a lot closer to it. And then to even fill in the gap even more, there is still a lot of stuff that the Index manga has now covered. So like hybridize all of it into a way that makes a far better animation. And then, you know, for the new parts, it may be a little tricky, take some risk here and there. But like if you take all the stuff that exists now, I figure that we're in a much better position for a good re-airing than we would have been at the very start, especially since, you know, New Testament's completed, though I'm sure that's probably been completed when the original series aired anyways, but you could use that for better foreshadowing, or even coincide that with their future plans for New Testament anime, so that it's not just, you know, you're foreshadowing the new Old Testament anime for the novels, but you're also foreshadowing the Old Testament anime for the New Testament anime. So they're parallel, but they can work as their own separate products that are interchangeable. But anime flows better to anime, light novel, it flows better into light novel, and preferably manga flows better into manga. Because I at the end of the day, I don't think the anime will ever replace the light novel, but it could take what's good from the light novel and put a spin that's still faithful, but that fits the anime style, that can sort of continue on the narratives. And maybe that's going a little too far, but I mean, you can't possibly get worse than the what we already have, right? I wouldn't think. Maybe
Yeah.
I'm wrong, but it's only up from here.
Yeah, the only way to go is up, definitely.
Gotta stay positive
so
somehow.
I would definitely like to honestly see that. If it were to coincide with, like, say it's going to be the same studio that does the remake as the ones who make the sequel, I think that would just fit the best. But that's probably even more of a pipe dream. But if we get the cells, of the books of like New Testament in America, there's a chance. And I'm rooting for it for sure.
Yeah, speaking of that, I'll be doing my review of NT1. I've delayed it long enough. That should come out today or tomorrow, hopefully. So stay tuned for that. First time I read.
New Testament one.
Yeah, first time I reread NT as well. So.
Oh, this is your first reread of NT?
Yeah.
Oh wow, okay. I thought you've read the series as much times as I have.
Okay. Well,
you've read it for making your videos, obviously.
Yeah. What I mean by that is, like, I've read it all the way through, like, once, just because of how big it is, but I do go back to, like, volumes, like, especially for my light novel summaries that I can't remember the details on. I'll go back and do, like, a skim read of it. I won't absorb like all the information, like reading it properly. But yeah, I'll go back to certain parts of the story or moments that I do need to refresh on. So I just read excerpts out of it. I treat it kind of like you would treat a Bible. You don't read the Bible from beginning to end when you're starting again. You just like find the sections you need and read those.
Yeah. You know, it's so interesting that they decided to release NT like how many years after they released OT22.
Yeah, mad. I'm glad Yen Press have decided to put their faith back into the franchise again, and yeah, I'll do my bit to try and, you know, make sure it's successful so we can have a good future, and then people in Japan think, oh yeah, Index does have a Western audience and it's worth noticing, and we can create more stuff for the future.
Yeah, and it's interesting because Yen Press is also publishing the manga for Index, right?
Yeah,
so they're
that's
having two versions of the same story, but obviously they're gonna have different versions, and people are gonna maybe be confused as to which they want to start sometimes. So another question would be, how does the light novel compare to the manga adaptation for the people who want to read either?
Yeah, because of course, like, not everyone wants to read light novels or simply are put off by it because they've never read a light novel before. And that, I can understand that. Oh, it's just like way easier for them to find the manga compared to finding a light novel. But yeah, the Index manga had a bit of a rocky start with adapting OT because the art wasn't that good at first. It was kind of a bit derpy, with some exceptions here and there. And then, literally, you can't make it up. I don't know who decided this, like the publishers or editors or whatever, but they decided, okay, we're going to skip both the Deep Blood arc and the Angel Fall arc just to get to the Misaka arcs faster. And that, and you wonder why, like, I've bantered the Misaka fans in the past, because it still annoys me to this day, because both of those arcs are important, especially for like World War 3, and
yeah, definitely.
And the fact that
mainly OT4.
Yeah, mainly OT4. And just cutting out, like, oh yeah, we could have had a peak like fight between, like, what do you call it, the Aureolus dummy that was cut out of the anime in the manga, and that fight, I would have loved to see that fight in the manga. The choreography in that fight and style and Toma versus the Aureolus dummy is really, I really enjoyed that fight. That really stood out to me.
Yeah.
And just like that could have been so many missed opportunities just like that, all because they want to get to the Misaka arcs faster. And it's such a shame because they've had to like rewrite certain parts, like Alice is being introduced, and who the hell Himigami is, just this random girl in Toma's class now. It's like, bro.
That's funny, yeah.
Yeah, so those are the major downsides of it, but past that point, it just started to get better and better, and we have to give a shout out to the mangaka. What's the name again? What's the name again? God, so many Japanese names. Who's the next mangaka name, guys, in chat?
Chuya.
Oh, Chuya. Is it Chuya? Yeah, I think it's Chuya.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think it's... Okay, whatever.
I'm pretty sure it's Chuya. Because Fuyukawa does the Railgun manga.
Let's see.
Chuya.
Might be, yeah, something with Chu.
Index.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, Kogi no Chuya.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, it's Chuya. Yeah, their art is in, like, we all know Haimura's art's improved, but Chuya? I don't know what Chuya was cooking, because like Index is the only like manga they're actively working on at the moment. But
yeah,
whatever drugs they took, they just like became Leonardo da Vinci or something, because they improved so goddamn much. Like, it's crazy. Like, the art of the latest like chapters and volumes in the Index manga now is beautiful. Absolutely, yeah, stunning. It's incredible. Like, it's really doing. That's why I made a video on like why the Index manga is like. Well, I forgot the name of the video, but it's about the Index manga, and I just had to because it just looks so good. Like the fights between Aqua and Kanzaki, or Night Leader, or yeah, Accelerator vs Kina, and even like the Academy City Invasion arc stuff. I had to read some of those chapters, and oh my god, like just like the Black Wing moment. Like, the build up to that, it's just stunning.
Yeah.
I was flabbergasted, whatever crazy word you want to put in my mouth. I was that. The art's that good, and it actually allows the story to be told in a way that isn't rushed. You can read it and you can understand the context. And okay, some things might be missed here and there, but overall, it's. If people don't want to read the light novel, just read the manga, to be honest. But
I can agree. I mean, I'll in my opinion, still slightly rushed, just a tad bit for my preferences, but it got the gist of it down enough where it's an acceptable substitute, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I still think I think, or not, you can. I don't like recommending this, but maybe you can read the manga and just read some of the more just the lore bits from the light novel. I think that would suffice as well. But then you have
Mm.
to go back and forth because there are definitely some lore exposition bits in the light novel that makes the series a lot more compelling.
Yeah, I agree with you. And Void, have you read a bit of the manga for Index?
I did read like the start of it and a few of the chapters. I wanted to actually dive into it a bit more, and was on my off days, and it it definitely does better than the anime in a lot of parts for sure from what I did see. But I have yet to fully dive into it. But I think it is possible that I might just do that first before the light novel, just because it'll be a lot easier for me to like cover those chapters. I can basically in like 1 or 2 days cover 100 chapters, so um, I can probably easily catch up on that and get more perspective for sure. But from what little I did see, I do definitely like a lot of it more than the anime. Not all of it, but a lot of it.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, yeah, it does make me wonder, once they like do catch up with where Index 3 left off, will we get like a New Testament manga? I don't know. What do you guys
New
think?
Testament manga, huh? No, I feel like they will. They will, because, well, I mean, what other projects does Chuya have? None right now,
Yeah.
right?
True.
Really Index, and I think he's doing a really good job. Publication for the manga has been pretty decent, even for the English. No, the English version too.
Yeah.
Isn't it selling more than the light novel?
Sorry?
Isn't it selling more than the light novel?
Oh, I'm not sure about sales, but yeah,
Okay.
I like to promote that as well if I get the opportunity to do so. I'm not sure what the next when the next release for the manga comes out, but I'll have to have a look at that and see if I can get
And
something
even then,
arranged.
yeah, even then, it's not even about. You don't even have to have physical sales these days. Everything is digital now. So if they're able to sell it digitally, and if their sales are good in that department, I don't see why they won't continue with NT. Especially given the fact that we're not sure. I mean, I think it's close, the New Testament anime, but especially since we don't have a New Testament anime right now, and if by the time they conclude World War III in the manga and the New Testament anime hasn't come out, I feel like them make an anti manga would fill a gap. It would have another medium. It would have another medium for the story of NT to be told. So I think it's very likely. A bit less likely if the NC anime releases before, but if the anime has not released by the time the first manga concludes, then I'm pretty certain they'll continue with New Testament.
Yeah. Boy, do you think we'll get a New Testament manga?
Intrigued of it. I don't know if like it'd be separated into another series very similar to how they handled like the light novel, but I also know that the game Imaginary Fest of all things, which hopefully is giving funding back to Kamachi and the projects. I don't know if it is or not, but I know that its in-game story is also reaching that point as well, and I thought it would be really funny if the game has to reach New Testament plot first. But I do think that it definitely will continue on, and if the manga reaches it first, I still don't really recommend it, but then they have no excuse. Now the anime can adapt the manga, or at least parts from the manga. Again, since it's coming out so slowly, it probably still wouldn't like adapt the manga, but I mean, hey, you never know. It could just be a few like good pointers, and it would be interesting for a change for like the manga to be the forefront, the one who pushes us forward, I suppose.
I swear, Square Enix better not be pocketing all that gacha money.
I mean, Square Enix. Square Enix is, I don't know. I don't really like the company because I know they nearly went bankrupt a few times actually.
Oh, maybe they are
Like,
pocketing all the Imaginary Fest gacha money then.
Yeah, I know they almost went bankrupt producing a Final Fantasy game. I don't remember which one, but they went. I think it was 15 because I don't know if it was 15 or another one, but I remember people hated the beta and they had to like redo a lot of things, or at least that's what I heard. And another thing I wanted to bring up is there is another series with 2 parts, like OT and NT, and they both have a manga adaptation going at the same time, and that is Classroom of the Elite. So they're adapting Year 1 in the manga right now, and they have another mangaka doing Year 2 simultaneously, which is interesting to say the least. Yeah, I'm just thinking.
Manga confirmed.
No, they're different mangakas. So there are 2 mangakas working on 2 different projects, but they're just adapting Year 1 and Year 2 simultaneously, basically.
That's crazy.
I know. So I was thinking, what if Toaru goes down that route? Because I think they're adapting Year 2 because the hype for Year 2 is very large right now. So they're capitalizing off of that hype. So there's a chance that if NT anime gets announced and they want to capitalize on the hype, they hire some random mangaka to do an NT manga adaptation, which honestly I would not want that because I think the quality would go down having 2 different mangakas and it just wouldn't flow, you know what I mean? So yeah. But I'm just saying maybe it might happen that way.
That'll be a crazy twist. I mean, we did get like the item novel, and then shortly after, the item manga was pretty much announced. So, yeah, that still like surprised me to this day that we just got it out of nowhere. It should have been like done like during the time of Index 3 when, you know, the Mugen no Friender stuff was relevant. But it just comes out of nowhere, and we just get like so much faith into the item stuff, and it's paid off because it's been really successful apparently, according to like the official sales that have been posted. But yeah, I just really hope that we get something cool for the 20th anniversary this year, because all signs seem to be pointing that okay, the franchise, it's gone on for a while, but like all the spin-offs seem to be doing well. And Genesis Testament, we don't know how well Genesis Testament is doing exactly because the online sales don't always get reported properly, like for the ebooks, I mean. But I don't know. It just seems like the perfect opportunity, and we're getting so much like interest into like different aspects of it. Like, come on.
So you mentioned something about GT sales being misreported, was it?
Oh, about the ebooks?
Yeah.
No, I just think like the ebook sales like don't get reported. Like, I don't think we have the numbers for those because it's always the physical sales that we get the numbers for. As I know.
I see.
Yeah. Until like until like the end of year sales, then it'll include them, I guess. But.
Oh, I mean, I bought like 7 copies of GT9 while I was there, so
yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, I know. Very wise financial decisions, but you know.
Well, you're doing your part. What can you say?
I'm doing my part.
Yeah, well, more than the people who don't even bother, just read it on Bakasuki and don't even bother to like buy the ebook. Because nowadays, like if I read like a new volume of Item or GT or even Mental Out, I got like volume 3. As soon as I read it on Bakasuki or whatever, I go and buy the ebook on Bootwalker, and it's only like £4. Yeah. It costs like fucking nothing.
Yeah, it's nothing.
Yeah,
it's nothing. They're all very affordable. Because I mean, to be fair, they're a lot more expensive in English compared to light novels in Japan. Light novels in Japan are dirt cheap.
I guess because like they sell a lot more of them compared to like over here, so I guess they have to like compensate for that.
I guess so.
Because there's a lot more of a defined industry there. Sorry.
No, it's fine. I was just gonna say that Japan's economy is it's not the best.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
So they're probably doing that because they know that there's just a lot of people in Japan that just can't afford more expensive stuff. So by making these things cheaper, and that's like the primary entertainment, you get more sales from basically the bottom of the food chain. Hate saying it like that, but you know, that's basically at least what I envision the goal would be. Whereas in America and other countries, you get a lot more big pockets people for now.
Yeah, that's another good point. Yeah.
You know, I guess so, but I think it's also the fact that in Japan they're targeting, you know, teenage boys who don't really have the income. You know what I mean? They're just using their lunch money to buy the books.
Allowances for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's what it is. It's not really even about the economy. I think it's just the target market. You know.
Possible.
The otakus.
Well, I mean, the real otakus in Japan, they can afford their stuff, man.
Yeah,
I know the expensive figures. I'm talking about like the teen kids who just want to read in school or read on the way home from school, I guess.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I think that's what it is. So,
Speaking of, do we have any news or any hope of like really, really cool Toaru figurines coming out? I'm talking Platinum Wing Cell. I'm talking literally any cool dragon form of Toma. I'm talking like
you naive boy.
Mugino, like with the arm, Dark Matter Kakino, like
so that's not what
good.
The fans want. We want another Misaka in her.
No more funny girls.
We want more. We want more Misaka figures in her alternate costumes, and then we want in a questionable pose, and then we want more Shokuho as well. This is what for the 15th anniversary of Railgun. You wanted more Misaka figures, right?
well, here's your option then. More Misaka figure. 5.1. That's so cool.
No, that's not cute enough. Remember, Misaka fans only care if waifu's cute.
Misaka fans only
Cause Biri blush.
I'm about to 3D print my own figures at this rate.
Misaka fans only care about the 14-year-old goddess. The 14-year-old goddess they idolize. Completely normal behavior.
Like, listen, I don't hate anyone who has like favorite girl or waifu or whatever, but come on, give the other characters some love. Yeah, Void, you're absolutely right. We need some way. There's so many options for like cool Toaru figures, and it's done the bare minimum. Like Toma has like one full-size figure, and it's like so old now. It's like, and even it is like proper full-size figure. It's like he doesn't really have much going on with it. I guess because he's Toma, and yeah, he doesn't really have any powers per se. But you give us a Toma figure where you can like attach a dragon on his arm or fish eggs or whatever.
I mean, I'd expect something when they release the New Testament anime or some figure line.
Well, yeah, I mean, at least we got that. To be fair, we did get that cool Werewolf Free Accelerator figure with like the purple cyclone wings. That looks pretty dope.
Yeah, I don't really like the wings actually. I think the wings are a bit too thin.
Okay, fair. But still, I think that compared to like the average Toaru figure we get nowadays, that's
better than the average, but
yeah, not that what do you call it? The standards are that high to begin with.
Where can one find that figurine? I kind of want to pick it up. Although it's probably a collector's item for like $600.
It's $250.
Oh, not as bad as I thought. Just like the Omnibus. The Omnibus sequel to this one figurine.
I
don't know about that one. But hey. Yeah, I may be invested in that one. Sounds pretty cool.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm looking at the figure right now. The wings look so thin for some reason.
Maybe he just doesn't need thick wings to, win. People like Kakine. You could have like shrimp wings and still win.
Yeah, that makes me think we should have like figures for the over level 5, so the fans could be able to like have a figure of each level 5. But
there should be.
I don't know if we've got like a Mugano full size figure. I'm not sure. Maybe we do. Maybe one. But
I don't think
like,
we do.
Sugita and Kakino, we don't have any.
Yeah, we don't.
That's a missed opportunity massively. Of many missed opportunities.
I mean, you say that, but we don't know if it'll actually sell for the company.
Yeah, I mean, we all know that waifus sell more, but I think for the novelty value of having like level 5s, because listen, level 5s, like even Railgun only fans are interested in level 5s, so.
Yeah, definitely.
I guess because Kakina hasn't really had much of a role in Railgun anime, he's just kind of like been the background character. It looks a bit moody. we don't really get the hype behind him, so yeah, I don't know. But Sugita, I think Sugita could do well. But I don't know.
Maybe.
If they have like some like special effects, like with his amazing punch.
Yeah, Misaki's doing pretty well, I think.
Oh yeah, she will do well. That comes as no surprise.
We need a those Hot Toys figurines. Have you heard of them?
Not sure.
So they are basically I think they're 1/6 scale of superhero comic book characters, but they're super well detailed and they have really good articulation. And one of them goes for like $400 a figure. So they're very high end, but I think it'll be interesting if they could do this type of thing with Toaru.
Yeah.
It's also not like quite a figure as well, like in my mind, but isn't there like the merchandise that they could also do that's really cool? Not like some wacko stuff, but like I don't know what kind of posters and stuff they have, but I know that that's like a big thing. And even that with like some of the New Testament or even Genesis Testament would go really hard if it's not already a thing. If it's already a thing, then cool, but I figure you could do that, or maybe even like some sort of theme, a wrap maybe to put around
a wrap.
Yeah, like one of those type of wraps that you use to like apply a texture to something. You just wrap it around like your system or your car. I think they're called vinyl wraps, but I don't know. I think that Toaru's merchandise can far expand from what it is.
Definitely, yeah. Could definitely expand a lot more. I mean, yeah, I don't think there's just any money in it for them right now. So we'll have to wait until another season of the anime drops, maybe, and we'll see then if they release any figures.
We do have the character perfumes that I saw on my Twitter.
I saw that too recently. I don't know when that was released actually.
Yeah, I think it was like, I don't know, near the end of last year.
Really? So they're pretty new.
Yeah, I remember it popping up. I tried to see if I could get like the Terma and Accelerator ones, but even on Japanese auction sites they sold out. So I'll see if they pop back up again, because I think it'd be fun to review those.
I'm gonna be honest. I would not want to smell like Accelerator.
I mean, that's what I'm thinking, because like, oh yeah, would you like to smell like, I don't know, Index? Like when I smell like beef or fish?
No, when I think of Accelerator, I think he's like always out, always fighting, and never has a chance to like shower anymore.
They smell like black coffee.
In late Old Testament, I feel like he just doesn't go home. Like he's just stinky.
Smells
of fighting every day.
Yeah.
Smells of blood.
Blood and black coffee. How edgy.
Blood and black coffee. Yeah. Like, how do they even like determine what scents actually go in this? Like I'm betting you. I'm telling you right now. They don't actually care what goes in this. They're just putting in whatever. I just think it's Accelerator. I promise you.
I have no idea. Well, you can buy some of the waifu ones if you want. Misaka and Itsuwa and Index on sale.
There's Itsuwa actually. Holy shit. Misaka perfume. That's crazy. No, that's actually crazy. Misaka perfume. Wow.
There's some hardcore Misaka fans are freaking out now, like, oh my god, I can smell her.
They're gonna spray like the Misaka plushies with it.
Oh my god.
They're
I don't want to
a
imagine.
makeshift Kuroko with the body pillow.
Oh no. Don't give people ideas.
I definitely do not want to imagine that.
They finish it off. By
There will be some people in Japan who are doing that. No, there definitely will be.
Yeah. I also know they just released like 2 Misaka and Misaki figurines from like some sort of quote unquote relax time line where they're just wearing lingerie.
Wait, really?
Yeah. I'll send you the link.
Oh, thanks. I was planning on getting some.
Yeah, I know. Because I am. I'm buying them right now as we speak.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I wonder what I'm going to do with them on my own free time.
They're making
remember that.
figurines of like what the characters look like. It's not about that. They're level 5s. They're the only level 5 characters in any series ever. And this is what you do? What you could do with any girl from any series or any guy from any series.
Hey, bro, we're just following the Blau vision, man. We're just following the Blau.
Okay, fine.
Literally.
I accept it if Motoi has a figure. If Motoi has a sexy figure, I accept it. If he doesn't, then I'm triggered.
Oh god.
A figure, okay. No, doesn't exist.
You see his 6-pack, his 8-pack, you know, and his normal like shirt, and freaking, in the beach arc. Like, come on.
No, we don't have him.
Sadly not.
There's like some other waifu character named Tsujimikado Kurumi, where I don't know where she's from. She's from what? Naraka Blade Point. But no, I couldn't find our Tsuchimikado, a figure.
I wish I could smell like Biagio.
Oh my god.
Smell like Biagio?
Yeah.
I'd rather. Oh, you mean like smell like underage children? Sure.
What?
Yeah. We literally said that he has a harem of nuns, bro. A harem of underage nuns, literally.
Nah, bro.
Smells like
Literally,
100% Chad and 15% ice. Because that's where he was at.
The ice boats are literally headed to Epstein Island.
The disrespect to Biagio.
Oh, I'm speaking facts, bro. I know where the boats are headed. I know what island they're going to.
Oh my god.
To the island, and then they're gonna raise it out of the ground like the Star of Bethlehem.
Yeah, they're just casually headed to the island with I don't know how many nuns.
It's a mile high club, but it's a cross.
That's crazy. Oh my god. This is funny.
Yeah, I know. But I don't know. I still don't like Biagio. Kill me.
Okay.
Do
Fine.
it.
You're just not in on the dank memes.
Well, I mean, for the memes, yeah, but as a character, like as an actual character, I don't care.
Okay.
Like for the memes, yeah, he's funny to meme, but you know.
Biagio!
The goat, you know, the goat. The goat.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. War merchandise is pretty dead.
Right. Bit of 2-hour mark. You guys want to end it here, or do you want anything else to talk about?
Well, I think we've talked about why we love OT enough, and I think, you know, if people here want to ever get back into the series, they should start rereading OT, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. What about you, Void?
I mean, I'm down for whatever. If you guys want to end it here, that's fine. If you have something else, cool that we want to talk about, I'm fine with that as well. Just whatever you guys want to do.
Yeah.
I actually have an exam tomorrow, but it's whatever.
Oh, good luck with that.
Yeah. No worries. I can ace it with like half an hour of study. So.
Hey, that's what I like to see.
Yep.
But yeah, I need to finish that NT1 review. So I've almost finished my
it's a good
reread.
volume. It's a
Yeah,
good
yeah.
volume. I definitely like NT1 more than most people, I think.
Yeah. There's some things which, I appreciate more, and some things which I noticed that what could have been done better. But yeah, overall, I've enjoyed rereading it. It's definitely made me remember things that I forgot, which is understandable because it's been like long ass time since I reread it in full. So
maybe we'll talk about NT next time. Next stream, whatever.
Yeah, we can do that or something else, or do like Index versus Railgun or something like that, or we've got plenty of things.
Let's not do that.
Why not?
I have a feeling the comments will be filled with unsavory people, if you know what I mean.
It's fine. It's engagement. Yeah, eyes on it.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
I mean,
They say, there's no bad engagement, I guess, huh?
Yeah,
it's about like it spreads the series message. When magic and science cross path, a story is born.
Yeah,
That's magic and science crossing path.
Sure. I'll just expect that one railgun guy who's just like, railgun's better than index. Index sucks, I'm just not in the mood to deal with that.
fair play. Another time, anyway. All right. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed this new live stream format. We'll do another one next month sometime, and I'm not sure what the next live stream will be. Either Toaru podcast, or I've got some other ideas as well, so stay tuned for that. It'll be good. But yeah, thanks guys for coming along. Hope you enjoyed this experience of being in the live stream on my channel for the first time. I've enjoyed talking to you both.
Yeah.
It was a pleasure.
Yeah. And yeah, if you guys watching want to appear on one of these, you can look at my Patreon. Link is in the description. I've only got limited amount of places for these kind of live streams, but if that's something you're interested in, then check it out. Well, there's other stuff there anyway, obviously channel videos and voting for future videos, stuff like that. So, all right, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you all next time. Bye bye.